why are we? Yep. Share. Oh, it doesn't matter. Hey, mine all know I'm hopeless. They do. Now, post, because this is just so new to me. I can't see where my thing is. Post, new, live stream. And this is a way, see, you could be doing this and people, you might get 1,000 people, they saying pay $5 to a month and then you made $5,000.
That's fabulous.
That's what I was explained to by a girl that runs a huge online business that I met in the shop years ago.
I just wasn't understanding how it works. I've been hearing about Patreon.
Well, I didn't either.
Because I teach courses on Thursday nights at 7:00. I'm thinking I might change that over to the Patreon, which would be great.
Yep. Oh, shut up now. Now I have to put in the post, which is Wellness Wednesday. This is more personal.
Okay.
And you.
Again, yeah, you take this where you need it to go.
Meet Francis. And we're going to start another tag. Okay. This is just all the techie stuff that I've learned from the guy in Colac has been great.
Oh, so good. This is fabulous, Linny.
Well, I can teach you, and they're lovely people.
So good.
So now I've done that. Then I go up here and I go publish now. Publish now. Patrons only. And I'll go back to YouTube. Hello, everyone. Can you see me? I'm on. Now, I don't know whether it's actually, my bathers are a good colour tonight, everyone. So if anyone's on, can you send me a message and tell me? I'll go onto Patreon myself and see if it's working. G'day, everybody. And it's pretty special tonight because, you know, I'm a dick. Now, hang on. Have we got Wellness Wednesday? We've just started. Now, before anyone comes on, we've just started and it's working. And I just want to say, I don't think anyone's on here yet, but you know who I am. And this is my mate, Francis.
Hi, everyone.
And
fantastic to be here.
Some of you might have seen her on Facebook just before, but this is our little private meeting. And this is going to be part of our Patreon thing. Francis actually runs a wellness centre in Apollo Bay. Before that, she ran one in Daylesford. Her and her husband Fab, they've been studying all this stuff for years, and she's very good at. She's going to teach us how to become more aware of ourselves, body, mind. We all need help at the moment, and that's part of. There's two, I think. That's part of what's going wrong with us. A lot of us have got problems. COVID started it all. Now we've got, the world's a crazy place. We're in a state of flux. One day we'll talk about the world, Francis, and why we're like we are. History repeats. Anyway.
Topic well worth investigating.
I think so. We've had some great conversations already. But Francis is going to tell you what we're going to do every week. And we're going to really be doing most of it on Patreon, just a little bit on Facebook. But this is the new way of the future. But she's going to help a lot of us that are having problems. I'm one of them. You might think that I'm always fantastic. Well, I'm not. Anyway, Francis, take it away and tell us how you're going to help us.
Thank you. Well, mind and body connection, mind and body awareness is a topic that I feel very passionate about. I love delving deeply into it. So I feel that this gathering once a week, Wellness Wednesday, will allow us to actually go deep into areas that concern us, areas that we feel we don't have a lot of information about. We can talk about it as a group and discuss matters that are true to our heart and matters that are unsettling us. and having us feel disconnected maybe from things and people around us in a way that we don't want to feel disconnected. So I suppose if I bring it into a nutshell, it's how we go from just surviving to thriving.
Did you hear that, everyone? That's a great way of putting
it's like,
it.
okay, we're in a situation where we're just making ends meet, or we're just getting out of bed, or we're just going through the day, and it's all
we're treading water actually at the moment. Do you
but
think?
Don't we want to thrive? Don't we want to feel like there's something?
Yeah.
We feel like there's something more. It's more a matter of how do we get there. So that's what I'd like to explore.
A lot of us did have that for a bit, I think, and our confidence is gone in ourselves. We feel like we're treading water in life, and we want to swim a marathon, and we want to go back to that. We want to jump off the diving board,
and it's scary because we sort of feel we can't trust life. Things can come out of the blue now. You know, the last 2 years, like when all this
that
comes
is
from.
so true.
We sort of feel scared to trust things and situations. So I think we need to get a little sense of our own trust in our own little micro environment, our own little small environments at home. You know, recover some of that trust, recover some of the confidence to move well, move with spirit, move with meaning. And actually, that's the thing that I believe it takes for a person to go from surviving to thriving. Search for meaning. What gives you meaning? What gives you purpose? What makes you feel as though, there's something in that gives me a little bit of vitality, you know, lifts my spirit, lifts my energy.
Do you think a lot of us, of course, what really kept us all going was the connection that we had? And you damn well know there's a fly there.
Absolutely.
And you damn well they have to live too. And you damn well know that with the lockdowns, that's how we came about as a group, was that we were missing that connection with family, friends, and everyone around us. And most of you just said to me coming on every night, just talking normal stuff. It's normal stuff. And
sometimes you don't find that common ground with family and friends.
No.
Sometimes it's like it's not there.
That is
sometimes
true.
It takes these situations, these pressure cooker situations, to go, this is not where I'm finding my thing, or I can't feel I can have like a discussion with this immediate group. So we search for groups like this, and we find it. We drop in gratitude that, wow.
And we can be ourselves. We can be who we really are.
It is a gift in that respect.
And well, it is actually. But what's come out of it is all the problems that we have had, what we do have. I'm the chief problem with my heart attack and I've had a business breakdown that I'm still dealing with emotionally as well as monetary wise, and it's really stressing me out. That's why I had a heart attack and diabetes. Frances is going to teach us all how to deal with these problems. We have the mind and we have the body, and it's about connecting them up and being kind to ourselves. And Frances is going to show us some strategies for that. Every week we're going to have
I think we should have a topic every week. It might be something that that we just pick that's a very important topic that we're all facing. It might be a question that comes from a viewer, or
please send your questions in. And Nicole Cataphoris, how's a chuka, darling? It'll be a bit. Do you like my outfit, by the way? Check this out. Yeah, the Made in Bali, the bikini.
It's a fabulous colour.
When I get the other camera, it'll show up better on here because my lipstick's brighter than it is. You all know that. And Frances has got on her lipstick too. She knows a true berry. She's a true berry, everybody. And she is a true berry because she's got 5 children. And how long have you and Fab been together?
About 25 years now.
Just 25 years?
More than that, 25 or 26, 27 years, yep.
And they've got kids. You've got 5 fabulous children, and has all the problems we have, and she gets through every day with her strategies, and she's going to share them with us. And I think that's great for us. I just got a message from someone. Sorry, I'm missing your messages. I can't see them all, but keep bringing them on. And if you've got questions, Cheryl Ralph's here. Now, Cheryl's from Tassie. She lives just out of Hobart, don't you, Cheryl?
Hi, Cheryl.
And she's depressed, and her liver is not good, and her digestion's shit. Well, that's something that Frances is going to deal with, different parts of the body, darling, as time goes on, and how we can look after it. And they actually talk about their food as being medicine. And I'm going to say it's much easier to change your diet when you know it's for a medical reason.
Mm.
And I found that with the diabetes, cutting sugar out is much easier knowing it's because I haven't been well rather than I want to be skinny. It's so interesting. So that's another thing Frances is going to teach us all, Cheryl. And you send me in questions, and she's going to answer these questions every Wednesday when she comes on. So
We can look at different areas of the body, like the liver. Or
you
we
said
can
liver
look at-
was really important.
Liver is very important. I believe the liver, and also, you know, looking at the pancreas. There are a lot of people that suffer from various
Pancreatitis.
pancreas, and
Where's your pancreas?
so it's sort of roughly in the center here is where
Here.
you can detect any sort of discomfort, like any tenderness.
So
just
your
below the
pancreas is-
sternum, just below the sternum, energetically, you sort of feel for any issues that could be inflammatory issues. You know, blood sugar issues as well.
See, my blood sugar still, I'm on a lot of drugs at the moment, and it's just not coming down enough. And
what affects the pancreas too is whenever we sort of sit slightly slumped forward, that contraction
Like that.
into this area all the time, where your back's a little more
so we're not sitting
stretched,
straight enough.
not sitting straight enough. So any
Oh.
sort of drop in compression tightens that area. And when it stays contracted all the time, there's not enough circulation that goes around this way. It sort of stays a
Hello,
little
Kelly
like this,
Robinson.
this
good day,
very
guy.
compressed. And what happens is it creates digestive issues further down the track as well. So getting into the habit of being posturally aware, if that makes sense.
Well, maybe
You don't always
that's-
have to be, shoulders
well,
back.
maybe
It's not that.
that's
It's more
something
about
you can teach us is good posture.
Yeah. And
that could be a good topic.
one technique that I love with improving posture is using a tennis ball, lying on a tennis ball.
She
at your
likes
back.
balls.
Yes, I do.
That's why she
And-
got 5 kids.
And if you're lying the tennis balls on your back or against your back ribs, you can really massage tension right out of all of these sort of muscular areas through your back. It's a really good way to bring down any anxiety in the body.
Did you hear that, guys?
If there's any problems with sleep patterns, if you feel that you don't have the energy when you need it, and then you've got the wrong time of the day, which is nighttime. Sometimes energy can sort of flip. Nothing during the day, then at night we sort of stay awake and we're sort of
Yeah,
like,
that happens to me.
with lots of mental energy or emotional energy. So using two tennis balls, one on each side of the spine, and lying on your back with the legs bent at the
Think
knees,
about
and
that.
just pushing up and down along that can really massage a lot of tension out of your back.
And you're doing
And
it without having to leave your home.
Absolutely. And that can relieve a lot of pancreatic tension. It can relieve a lot of liver tension, and a lot of, on the opposite side of the liver, we have the stomach and spleen. Great way to address these issues. And it's a really simple technique, and maybe something we could do in one of the sessions down the track. We could actually
Yes.
maybe instruct and show. And
Di just said her sleep pattern's up the shit. So what's wrong with your sleep pattern, Di? Because I know I wake up nearly every night. I'm a great sleeper, by the way. Bruce reckons I watch a lot of SBS stuff when I go to sleep, and I put on the show, and it's the big footballs on and off. Sleep for hours. Anyway, but I wake up between 2 and 4. Now there's something, do you know what can I tell you something really interesting that I read? That in the day, meaning in past centuries, we went to bed when it was dark because we didn't have light. So we would go to bed, and it might be in England in the day, we'd go to bed at, say, 6 o'clock, and we would wake up. This is what they used to do. They would wake up around 2 o'clock in the morning, and they would actually go out and visit neighbours. They would have meals. They actually had a 2-hour window of being awake. And I found this
You're right.
absolutely
the sleep phase was
fascinating.
broken into 2 stages.
Yes,
had
and
your-
in that time, they actually lived a life of going to visitors, people, have a meal. It was 2 hours of wide awake, and then they would go back and go to bed again and wake up when it was light. And I found that absolutely fascinating.
Absolutely.
And actually, do you know what? I wake up now and I think, oh, geez, I was alive back then in those days, because that's something a lot of people wake during those times. And I find that really interesting. Now, Di just said she wakes up multiple times during the night. A lot of people do. Is that stress, do you think, or what? Or is it something on the mind doing that?
It could be something on the mind, definitely, but it could be something that started off on the mind and within the emotions of the body that now has anchored into the tissue. not letting the body rest deeply enough when it's time for nighttime sleep. And so we have this sort of like agitation that's in the system, not letting the body build sufficient sleep hormones, like build proper melatonin. Now, your body actually builds melatonin or tops up in it, ready for nighttime sleep during the day, in the morning when the sun rises. We also get a melatonin build up from certain foods that we eat as well. And we can discuss that, which foods are actually important for good sleep. And they're referred to as melatonin-rich foods, and you could probably Google that as well.
Which
and get some
means
information between
you don't have 6 stubbies and you don't have 10 cups of coffee before you go to bed.
No, for some people that doesn't work. For others, it just might be what's needed. But for most people,
during COVID, it happened to a lot of us.
I mean, occasionally, but if you're doing that all the time, the organs are going to be very much irritated, and there'll be inflammatory issues. And usually, it's that heat that's trapped in the body, that inflammatory heat, that stops it from falling into a deeper sleep. So we get that imbalance between it's like blood and fluids that are ready to settle, and blood and fluids that are agitated with with things in the system, metabolic waste, let's say, waste material, let's say.
No coffee after 9 a.m. Well, actually, I'm not a coffee drinker much. I will have 2 cups in the morning, and if I'm tired and I need to, I'll have one to get me going in the up, but I don't, because I have my cups of tea. I think a lot of women are like that.
Knowing how your body reacts to things is really important. That's awareness. If we start
listen to your body,
listen to your body. So that could be your body. One of the first things, just listen to your body and know what doesn't sit well with your own body. Know what gives you a negative response or sort of
and how often, everyone, have you listened to your body? No, because you know why? You reckon I'm one of them. You don't have time, too busy, got to do that. Absolutely. Well, slow down. You probably move too fast. You've got to make the moment last. So listening to your
body is one thing that's important. Sometimes having a bedtime ritual, not when you get into bed, but that sort of lead up into the hours before your actual bedtime, which could be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or midnight, whatever, whenever your actual getting into bedtime is. Having a ritual 2 hours prior to that helps to sort of tone down, sedate, let's say, a little bit of that energy that may keep the body awake and overstimulated.
Callie just said she has 3 coffees a day. Now, Callie's a diabetic type 1, aren't you, Cal? She's from Gippsland, Cal, and she has her last one at 5 p.m. and she can sleep really well. So it depends on,
and that works for you.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's really important, not to follow someone else's protocol, because it may not work for you. But if you find a pattern or a rhythm that works for you, you're wonderful.
And so we're going to talk about all these things, but thanks for sending in your little messages of what you'd like to know. But we're going to do a lot of things here, and also if you really need more help, because I know some of you do. I'm not an expert. Frances is. So if you need help and you're having problem with things like with digestion, with all these bodies, she knows what to do, and she can do a private consultation with you. Or she also does, she's going to go on Patreon probably and do some yoga, and she's going to have like a wellness channel, and that'll be fantastic for everyone that needs that bit more.
Yoga and gentle movements like yoga is a really good way to build awareness in your body.
Can you tell me what a gentle movement is?
So things that would be similar to stretching, but it's not so much stretching for the purpose of lengthening a muscle. It's more a matter of you stretch enough just to get the tension out, just to get the daily stresses out of the body.
Yes.
So just those gentle movements can sometimes help to build a little more resilience, help to build a little bit more energy flow in the body. Plus, it can also get us out of our head.
Do you think you can?
And I think that's probably a really good thing.
Me? I have problems. I'm worried about me getting older with my balance. And a lot of people have trouble with balance. My daughter says, Mum, how many times did you fall over this year? So I think that they're things that we should all address.
Balance is really important. Yeah. And what I find is, especially in a class, once we've done some very gentle opening
stretches.
Once we've done some gentle opening stretches, learning to balance or exploring your balance is a really good way to show you which side of your brain is more switched on. Because the balance actually feeds back, or the way we stand on our feet, or 1 foot if we're just practicing our balance, lets us know which side of the brain is more active at a particular time.
My brain's that bloody active. Now, Liz Ball's on. Now, g'day, Liz. I was just talking to her before. Now, Liz lives in Albury.
Hi, Liz.
And she's just had a shoulder operation, and her doctor wasn't that happy with her. Now, good old Liz thought, I'll be right, didn't you, Liz? Yes. And she probably needs a little bit of strategy because she doesn't want to have to go back under the knife
Liz,
again.
the first thing that comes to mind, and something I'd probably like to suggest, is just be careful of acidity or acidic foods, because especially post-operative, when the body has scar tissue, anything that's acidic is actually going to slow down recovery or could prevent that injured area from actually reorganizing itself in a healthy way. So just know where your pH is. It's not difficult to do a pH test.
How do you do a pH?
You could actually go to a pharmacy and ask them for pH strips that you can test it via saliva.
Do you think we could do one next week?
Or
maybe?
a urine test, right? And
well, we've
and
all
those-
done them,
and
haven't we,
those,
girls?
Urine tests and saliva tests, you can access those strips from your local pharmacy. And that's a really good way to know where your body's at, because you
Think
want
we
your
could do
pH
one
to
of
sit
those
somewhere
next
in the
week?
centre. Actually, I've got a whole lot of pH
We
strips
might
I'll probably bring
do.
in.
We might do a pH test next
Yep.
week.
And-
Now, can I just cut in,
Yep.
because Jenny Blaze is on here, and Jenny lives down in the Mornington Peninsula, and she moved there she had to move during the COVID, and she's a carer for her brother Jeffrey. And Jeffrey, how old's Jeffrey, Jenny? He's nearly 60, I think, and she's cared for him all his life. He's disabled, and he likes me, doesn't he, Jenny? But, she's just saying here, and you're one of the very special, you're all very special, all of you, but, I don't like it when I hear her say her brain isn't working properly. She feels lazy. She's eating junk instead of something healthy, and she feels like she wants to cry all the time. Now, listen here, Jen, you're not on your own.
Not at all.
And how old's I'm just trying to read what you said then, darling. And 60. He's 60. And, you've done a wonderful job, but you're not looking after you, Jenny Glazer.
And that's so
And
important.
that's what we have to.
If-
And that's
for
what
those
we.
of us that are carers.
That's what.
so
Yeah,
important.
darling. We're going to work on that sort of thing, and this is what our Wellness Wednesdays. Because you've just put it in a nutshell. You're not on your own. How you feel, it's everywhere.
It's really important, especially as a carer, that we get the right balance in our brain. And doing balancing, like learning to balance on one leg, is a really good way to pull away from the headspace, anything that's overwhelming. Now, when we're a carer, there's a lot of emotions involved, and the emotions tend to be more to do with the right side of the brain. And so they tend to affect more the left side of the body. It's a little bit of sort of
okay.
So when we work with balancing postures, especially for those of us that are either carers or we are therapists and looking after people, managing the balance of the body becomes really important.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never would have known that.
Really, really important. And in yoga, we have a way to manage balance and the way the brain works, and it's blocking one nostril and you're breathing in and out through one nostril, and then you block that and you do it on the other side, and then you go in through one nostril, out through the other. Because when you cross over, when your body crosses over in any way, for example, if I'm crossing my arm across the body or I'm crossing my legs, it switches on both sides of the brain as long as we swap and shift over.
Can I ask you something? Liz says that's amazing. She's amazing. I bloody told you, but I like her hair the best. I'm going to ask you if maybe Frances might teach me just a couple of yoga moves, and we'll do a little movie so that we can show you just a couple of little
I think
basic.
it'd be great to do something on balance. I feel it'll
Just-
help
yeah.
a lot of
So maybe
yes.
before next week, she'll show me a little yoga thing that we can show you to do. And nothing she shows me to do will be hard, because I won't be able to do it otherwise.
And
So
balancing
when
postures
she
won't be,
says-
they shouldn't be. They're really simple postures,
Good,
and I
because
think
when
it's
she says do the splits, I won't be able to do that.
no,
And
that'll be
then
the
when
following
she
week.
says get off the ground, Linny, she's a brick. I can't get off the ground without rolling over.
The balancing postures are all done standing, and they're done using a chair or
Even
a wall.
better.
And
Now,
honestly, they're very
someone
fabulous and
told me
also
that there is a yoga in a chair yoga.
chair yoga. Yes,
that might be something to start off. That might be a good thing.
I teach a lot of chair yoga, and it's not just for those that are new to yoga. I teach it also to advanced students. It's important to actually understand how to arrive in a chair sitting down correctly and to be able to get out of a chair correctly. Because any imbalance or any sort of where if you tilt your body weight to one side or you're loading to one joint or your foot's not actually receiving the weight properly, we could create instability issues in the joints. So chair yoga is a really good way to just learn to manage how to stand up, how to sit down and do that properly so we don't get these structural issues in the body.
Jenny Blazer just said she needs some yoga. So Jenny, if you like, what we might do, have you got a Facebook page yet?
Yes, I do. Yes.
And what we might set up is so that you can contact Frances because she does do yoga by Zoom, and she might even move on to Patreon, so you can.
We'll do little snippets of sessions, and they'll last probably about 5 minutes.
Something just that you little can just
just drop in, little ones to start with.
And you're going to start us all off. And guess who's on me bloody fave? G'day, Brenda. Brenda from the UK.
Hi,
guess
Brenda.
what? This is Frances, Brenda. She's got out of bed, and she's coming to Australia. Yeah. So when you come to Australia, bloody hell, Brenda. She's never left England. I love Brenda.
Wow.
And she met me on Facebook by accident, didn't you?
Now she's coming to visit.
And now she's going to come out in October, her and her sister, and we're going to billet her all around Australia, aren't we, darling? And I'm so excited. I'm so excited about that. So you will actually meet her in the real world. She's got 5 kids, Brenda. God, have a look at her figure. I wonder if by the time we finish, we'll all look like Frances. And we don't have yoga mats, by the way, Lisbon. We don't have to. She said if you want to do yoga, you don't have to go out and buy anything.
Not at all.
Just get a towel.
You could place a towel on the ground. You could do your yoga with the towel on carpet, or a blanket. It's not needed. But the first sequence of postures we'll do are standing. So all you need is a chair and a wall, and we'll be able to work with that.
Yeah, and I think that's great because most of us have never done this before, so we've got to start really small.
We won't need any props, and if there's any props that's needed, they're things that can be easily found around the house.
There you go. So you don't have to spend money here. No. And she said you can wear whatever you like. So I thought,
absolutely,
bloody wear me bikini.
Bathing bikinis will do.
And she said, you know what she said? You can go naked. Yeah. Imagine doing the splits, showing off your vagina to the world to see. Bruce won't want to see mine anymore.
But in your own space, you can show up in whatever way feels comfortable. That's more the matter of fact.
So what this is all about is you do what you can when you can.
Absolutely.
No pressure. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to wear anything special. Just come along. And it's small steps. Small steps become big strides.
And we go from just, surviving and making do to feeling better and hopefully thriving, And
what she's going to want to know is how you feel. And so, Frances, once we've done, just a couple of tiny things for everyone to start with, she's going to ask you how you feel after you've done that. Now, if we did a little yoga exercise, how often are we going to have to do that? Do we do it once a week? Do we do it every day? Do we do it every second day?
Well, I think the sequence that we put together that we show people that will last about 5 minutes, it's good to do that every few days. So they can use that same routine.
You don't have to do it every day.
No, days.
Few weeks, I was getting a bit
Especially
worried.
when they're balancing postures. If you do it a few days, you can then check in and say, oh yeah, I'm out of alignment again. You'll find that because you won't be able to hold the posture, your balance will be very short. It'll be, you'll sort of try and balance and you'll fall. And all of a sudden, you'll find that maybe 2 or 3 repetitions in, you're holding your balance more than what you thought.
Is that true?
You're holding it, for 10 breaths rather than barely getting there in the first breath.
Because I know,
and that's usually the feedback, from
I
your
can't
body.
stand on one foot. So I'm going to be the ideal person to show you what to do. And I'll probably be the one to show you how I'm going because I'm really starting as low as you can go. I don't like exercise.
Yoga can be done by anyone under any condition. There's always variations and modifications, and we're going to hope to explore all that.
Karen Houghton's come on, and I was telling her about your daughter Karen and Jennifer and how clever she is as an artist and how she's not that well. And Karen's just said, can she use you on NDIS? NDIS is government funding, and so she has a package for her daughter. Could she use you to get some of that government? Because
I couldn't see why
one
not.
thing, Karen, about Frances is she's got 5 kids, and that bloody helps. She understands kids, and I think Jennifer would really like her. You'll like her. I know you will, because you're a good chick. And so that's something we'll just, I can find that out probably through a friend's daughter who's a nurse here. So we'll find that
We'll
out.
check whether she
And
can
that could be handy for a lot of you on care packages at home that need things like to do balance and stuff. That can be a big thing, actually. Balance is one of the huge things, because
absolutely huge.
my aunt just died a few weeks ago. She had a fall. That's what happens. Yeah, and
it's
you,
really hard to
Jenny
come back
Blazer, you should be getting help, because you just you look after everybody, and that's why you feel. And don't cry, because we love you. We love you, darling. And I think the depression thing's with us all. It's with me at the moment a little bit. I know that I get up in the morning and I can't face some of the jobs I'm meant to be facing. I just can't bring myself to. That is a sign of depression. I know it is. I know. I'm trying to help everyone, but I've got to help myself, and that's what Frances is here for. She's here for all of us. But we'll investigate all those issues. This is just new. This is just new to us, to me, as of course, but it's new to Frances.
Let us know what you're interested in, what you'd like for us to show, or for us to talk about, and we're very happy to investigate.
Yeah, so. And that's exactly what this is all going to be about. So next Wednesday we'll be on. Does the time suit you, or do you need another time? Because it's very important, because she's got yoga classes after here, so she'll
have a class right after this. But no, this time suits. Suits, and I think we make the topic balance next week. Balancing the brain,
5:30,
and working through the nervous system.
And we'll do a little ad that we'll put on Facebook that this is going to be on Patreon, and we'll see what happens. And she's going to show me a couple of exercises that I'll do a little video of, and I'll post those so that you can see. And maybe one little exercise, and we do it twice before we come on next week, and we'll just see. I want to see what you think about that. That would be really good. That's to get.
Great. I think that's.
She needs the feedback, and until Frances knows what we need, she doesn't know what to offer. So you've got to ask. Yep. She has an ABM. Oh, she's got an ABN. Yes.
That's why I couldn't see why not.
There you go, Karen. I think that would be good. And being a mum of 5 kids helps. And if you spoke to her, we all love her anyway. Yeah, from the minute we met them, they're just gorgeous. But she's here to help all different levels. She's not just here for people that I used to be funny about going to the gym, because I don't want to go to a place where everyone's so fit.
Or you think that everyone's knows what they're doing, and you think that everyone's already established in it. But no, with yoga, it's not the case.
I don't want to go. I've got to feel comfortable with the person that's going to show me what to do, and I feel comfortable with Frances. I know I wouldn't feel comfortable with some of the other people, and that's just me. And I hope you feel comfortable with her too. She's just beautiful. And actually, I love some of her ideas. We're going to talk about sexual health going forward. I think we should I'm going to bring up things like how women can empower themselves with all the crap that's going on about women lately. It's become crucial to all of us, because we have daughters. I have a granddaughter. I thought that in the 70s, Germaine Greer and all that stuff, that we would have a lot more equal society than we have now. And we're going to talk about maybe how we can empower ourselves as women and to pass that down to future generations of women. I think that's really important. It can be such small things. And I know some of that, and I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely.
And she has a lovely man as a husband who supports her, and I do too. But they're not all like ours. And I know that some of you would have had a hard time in the past, but we
The
have to.
support comes in different ways.
It
Doesn't have to
does.
just be, with your partner. It can come
Yeah,
in so many different
it
ways.
does.
So if we're
Yeah,
open and receptive to that, and we allow ourselves to be, we can find surprising support in a lot of places that we wouldn't have considered. So
yeah, and that can be that's a big thing with me actually. I'm so disappointed with our government, all levels of government, and the way women have been treated in big business, the way women are treated in small towns, the way women are treated. I do have a problem with some of the football leagues and things. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to. But I do. And so this can be part of our Wellness Wednesday as well, can be how to empower ourselves as women. Women can be the best support, but the worst enemies. So we've got to learn, and this is our group. On this Patreon, the women that are on here, or the people that are on here, are fantastic and very supportive of each other. It's a kind, gorgeous group. And thanks for coming on, because I feel comfortable enough to really say what I think. And so do the girls on here. And so anyway, going forward, I'm going to let you go. And we look forward to Wellness Wednesday next week. And if there's something really important that you want to discuss, to send me a message. That's fine. And if you want to contact Frances privately, we can organise that too, so don't worry. So there you go, Jennifer. And she's a good chick, eh? Like her hair, bloody hell. But she's been great to me too. So thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You know what? She's going to fix me up. I won't be on drugs soon. I'd only like to be on the funny drugs.
But it's lovely to go on a journey together. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll all sort of
We're
have
on.
a journey
Hey,
on our own.
we are on it.
Yeah,
Life's a
absolutely.
journey,
Yes.
doll.
And we've crossed paths, and we'll just explore something, and that's with all of you as well. And I think it'll be fun.
I think so too. And I never thought I'd be like this, because I was too busy to worry about my body. And Karen has said, Jen and her are so excited, and they're thanking me for organising this. And thanks. And Brenda said, thanks. Nice to see ya.
Thank you very much.
And Brenda, I'll be seeing you tomorrow, won't I, darling? And Liz Ball's on too. And Liz has gone through a lot. Her son has a brain tumour. He's 36. And you go through a bloody hell, don't you, Liz? And she was here a couple of weeks ago. Bloody good cook, that Liz. But you know what, guys? This is important. It's important for all of us. And I think it's a great thing for our group. So thanks, Frances.
It's an absolute pleasure.
And
thanks, everyone.
Yeah, here's me. Now I can see the little button that says end stream tonight, because I buggered it up last night. That was because I had Scondo on the laptop, and I thought, I better wipe that off my new laptop, and I've lost everything. Love your guts.
Bye, everyone.